Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BillysPiT. And with me, as always, every month, Billy Minimal, telling things like it is. We have with us this month, ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Donny Thompson, who has just attempted a 1260 squat.
Let's start, first of all, let's start with the 1260 squat. There's been a lot of talk on the internet. Some said they thought it was good, you know, the internet judges. Some said they thought it was high. How did you feel about the squat? How did you feel the weight felt on your back? Tell us a little bit about that.
The weight actually felt pretty good that time around on my back. When you stand up with that, you kind of don't feel anything. You just feel like you're getting crushed the whole time. You know what I mean? And it's
right.
like it's hard to describe. So, years ago, I would have thought if I stood up with something like that, I would have thought there is no way in hell I'm going to squat this. You know, but that's not how you think now. And so I had a real good bite on it. When I stood up, I was like, ooh, this is going to go pretty good. I knew I just had to get down there kind of fast. If you hover around with that kind of weight, you're not going to have enough strength to come back up, you know. So I got down there, heard the guy say open. That's my cue to just, instead of that up, that, you know, some guys have some squat come in and go by when they're in the hole, you know, they get an up call or whatever. I like to hear open, that way I can dip into there. I just open my legs up and sink it, you know. And I'm hoping I engineered my suit properly so it will catch right when it has to, and I can recover from it and just keep piling that thing up. And how it felt well, one of the best squats I felt like I ever did. And you know, of course, you can't tell your own depth really. I mean, I knew I was down there, but it was close. I think the way I'm built is really hard for judges on the sides to really. My legs are huge from behind. I mean, they're just, you know, appearance-wise, it looks kind of, it's kind of hard to judge me. You lose that hip to knee ratio with my size. So, but anyway, that's why I try to get, you know, dip down real hard and kind of just and get it. And I remember I felt all the muscles in my back pulling into it when I was coming up. You know, just that last heave, like I'm going to get this damn thing up, and I got it, put it, and I was like, finally, this is behind me. Everybody's cheering, and it's like, oh. So it's like, oh, I guess I got to get through another damn training cycle and try this thing again, you know.
The thing I find amazing about you and Vogelpool, the same thing, is you guys have been lifting for years and years. You guys came up in the single-ply era, in the era where if you squatted 900, that was considered, you know, a pretty monstrous squat back in the day. And a lot of guys, like I talked to this with Louis Simmons and John Bott about this, is that some of us, like myself and Lou and John, you know, when you know we've been in the 900s and we've never really mentally been able to set our minds around the fact of you know 1,100, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. How have you been able to do this? And like you and Chuck, basically the two guys I think of the most to do it because you've been around for so long. How have you been able to do this with your your mindset toward the numbers?
Well, I mean, it's a good question, and no one ever asked that, and it's sort of hard to say it to anybody because then they think you're either a lunatic or insane, you know. But at some point, you know, you lose your fear of the weights. You don't lose your respect for them. You just kind of lose your fear for them. You know what your body's capable of doing, and I knew I could handle. My body could handle the stresses of all that stuff with the type of training I do. But it was with the right amount of gear. Like, for instance, I watched Bolton squat over 1,200 and Vladimir go over 1,200, and they both had the same thing in common. They had that Inzer suit, the Leviathan thing.
Right.
And I was like, you know, I'm tired of this. I'm getting myself one, too. I'm not going to be exception to the rule, you know.
Right.
And so I think that kind of made me feel a little safer, you know, like I wasn't going to buckle around down there. I think I had this attitude about 3 years ago, but it's like, why I could squat the highest weight any human has ever done. But I'm just not, what am I waiting for, you know?
Right.
And so I think I finally came to terms with that because, you know, my mortality is coming here, you know, 45, soon be 46 next month, and I'm like, you know, I'm not going to get younger. Again, it's like, I think everybody has this in them, but what price are you willing to pay? And I think you talk about Vogelpool, there's some other ones too, you know, about a dozen others, that Frankel, you know,
right.
that have just said, you know, I'm willing to pay the price I'm willing to pay it all, because I can't go through life knowing that I didn't give everything I had down to my last cell to get this one thing. If I fail, well, it's not because I didn't give it everything. It's just because I maybe picked too high, or something.
Right.
I'm not going to get out of powerlifting knowing I'm not squeezed every single ounce of. Like my grandmother used to say, you can wipe your ass with potential. Well, I don't want any potential left when I'm out of powerlifting. I want it gone. The one thing about powerlifting, I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's the bad. It's the nightmare of it, and that's why. And all three of you guys, all three of us know this one thing for a fact. As soon as you reach your goal, whatever it is, you're like, I think I can do more.
Right.
Never once do we sit back and go, oh, man, finally, now I can do something else. I got my goal. I'm done. For some reason, it's like a disease, and it just, man, if I squatted 900, I think I can get 1,000 now.
Right.
And it just keeps holding you on and holding you on. Places I never dreamed I was going to be the highest totaler of all time, and I never dreamed that in a million years. Louis Simmons told me when I first started, you might be able to squat 800 one day if you're lucky. I was like, geez, all right. I already squatted like 615, you know what I mean? Right. So it's like, that's not that far away. I know I can get those 800, so I really worked hard on getting that 8. That was supposed to be kidding, really. So.
Now, one of the things people talk about you, too, is that you, A, burn out training partners, or B, Donny's an asshole and people leave him because he's an asshole. And I've always said, Donny doesn't really come across as an asshole to me. He comes across as a guy as if you miss workouts, you're not going to last very long with Donny Thompson. So give us your explanation of why you've gone through so many training partners, and do you think it's Donny's the asshole, or Donny just demands you to be there and put some effort into this thing?
Well, I often have to think out of the box on this one because, I'm wondering, is it me? Am I an asshole? Because I can't stay in relationships either. So I think it's a little bit of both here, but. Because most of these guys come because they're attracted to the light. But, I am a lot to deal with personally, I would imagine. If somebody's with, like, just the bench and the squat alone, you can't put on your gear and expect to lift by yourself. It's not going to happen.
Right.
And when you train for a meet, you need a minimum of 5 guys. Minimum.
At least. At least.
There has been nights when we're benching and stuff. 3 guys show up, so we're calling everyone we can at 7 o'clock at night, just to get out there. And we've gone as far as calling girls that were in church on Wednesdays, the Southern Baptist Belt down here, or they're in church, and we're like, please leave church and come here and spot us. God will reward you. We need to be saved, so please come down here.
But see, this is coming from a man who is the strongest squatter on the face of the earth, and you would never think that. You think there'd be a waiting list of people coming in the gym wanting to spot and load for you because you're who you are, and it's just the exact opposite. Because, in my opinion, I think there's also probably, a lot of jealousy out there.
I don't ever want to say that it's jealousy because you guys could see that better than me. But Mark Bartley, this guy trained with me for like 7 years. He was a real good lifter in his weight class for a long time. He told me at one time, he goes, Donny, you try to place your not my values, but my will on people. He goes, you can't place your will on people. They are who they are. They don't want what you got. Because everybody that came there, I thought they could do more than what they were doing,
right.
Right. And I'm pushing them to do more, pushing them to do more. And that's just because I was doing it myself.
Right.
And, they were right. I had to live and let live. And, because can I tell you guys my 3 rules that I had? I don't give a fuck about your job. I don't give a fuck about your school. And I don't give a fuck about your girlfriend. We train at this time, be here and get it done. Or don't come here. Go to a gym. Pay a membership and go whenever the hell you want to go. But don't bother me. And they all come there with that intention, but it's just a little much more than they could, more than they're willing to sacrifice.
All right.
So.
Give us your best lifts in a meet and your best total. So your best squat, your best bench, best dead, and best total.
Best squat so far is 1235. Best bench 910. The best deadlift 832.
Okay. Your best was 29:05.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
Let's talk about some of your training methods. Now, you basically follow a West Side method, right? But your max effort days are a little bit different than, like, you don't really do heavy. You don't do the max effort good mornings. You're mostly max effort squatting every week. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a form of squatting.
With the bands, and I read that article. You go,
but
do you break it up? Do you break?
A long time. That took a long time to get to that point.
Right.
People read that article and think, "Oh, give this thing a try." I don't think they understand. It took years and years and a ton of strong guys to come up with that thing. And we found it's just best not to repeat the same workout every week. Change it up. So, in other words, I'm not going to, if I do regular bar squats one week, I'm not going to do the same exact thing the next week. I'm going to change the bar up, change the apparatus up, and it's come. I used to do like 3 weeks in a row of the same thing, sometimes 2 weeks in a row of the same thing, and now I got that thing down, and we go 4 weeks of squats, 1 week of pulls and leg presses, and it seems to have worked. And then whatever we do that Tuesday, that Friday, we'll do the speed work, but to mimic what we're going to be doing that following Tuesday. You follow me?
Yeah, so, Now, let me ask you this. So you do the one dynamic workout for each, upper body, lower body, and one max effort for upper body, lower body. You still set it up like that, and then do your own twist on it, or is that the way? I mean, you pretty much follow the West Side thing, but you do your max effort work just in a different way.
Well, I told people before they get mad, but I am more West Side than West Side is. I follow that stuff to a T. So I've done speed work every week of my life since I've started this, and the only thing I've changed is I'm going a little lighter on speed day. I don't try to go so heavy.
Right.
I just try to keep it real fast, and we almost call it speed recovery.
Right. Let's talk about that for a minute, because there's been a lot of. I mean, I done on West Side every Friday and do the dynamic day, and I'm more like you were, where my dynamic day was extremely light, not extremely light, but percentage-wise, it was 50, 53, 55%, or whatever it was, 50, 55, 60%. And I got down there and I noticed these guys are training. It almost becomes like another max effort day. And now some people will say today that the dynamic method is outmoded. There's no need to do it anymore. You're not going to get any faster. I've talked to Bill Crawford about this. He goes, listen, you're 46 years old. You're not going to develop any more bar speed than you already have. What is your opinion on the dynamic method of training?
Yeah, I don't. They're all right and they're all wrong. I mean, there's no. I'm not doing it for bar speed, Billy. Hell, I can't even put my hands any different parts of the bar than with the one place I put them. So, I don't give a crap about bar speed, but you know what? I hit that speed day, and like I said, it's kind of recovery, and that is the day, and that's what I try to tell everybody, and they kind of miss the point. I focus on every single little detail about that lift, because the weight is not an issue, and I could really, that's when I practice my stomach, practice my getting tight, practice where my feet go properly, practice wedging under the weight. All these things come into play, because on heavy training day, you're not going to be able to analyze yourself and change right when you're with heavy weights. You have to just hit it the best you can and hope that your instincts provided you with the right result. You just cannot. The speed day is when you really, really execute perfect. You can tell when you're off on your speed work. It's like, oh, I didn't hit that one right. Oh, that's good. Oh, this was a good one. Because when you hit speed properly, you don't even feel the weight at all. It's just like one continual motion. Nothing's heavy and nothing hurts. It's really cool when it fits right in.
Right. Yeah. Now let me ask you this: you also do. I know you do work. You've said that you've done. Say you do a max effort bench day, and then the next day you come back and you'll train that same body part with. I don't know if you do it with dumbbells or kettlebells, but you do a lot of training the next day as sort of an extra recovery day. Do you still do this now, or is this something that you stop?
No, I still do it, but I wave that around. Like if I'm really behind or something, I'll hit it pretty hard. I'll do some dumbbell work the next day, or some kettlebell work the next day, and really, lately we've been doing some upper body sled stuff the next day. We get a lot of blood in the shoulders and stuff, and it's been really